Welcome back to Fast Market on the TD Ameritrade Network. I'm Tom White, joined by my co-host Kevin Hinks. But let's bring in our next guest for our cash tag segment. That's going to be Landon Swan, the co-founder of LikeFolio. Welcome to the show, Landon.
Hey, Tom. Good to be here.
All right. So we're talking fast food. We're heading into lunch hour here. We're talking Yum brands. Well, we've got DRI. They've got earnings tomorrow. And this space, they've sold off quite a bit from highs. Inflationary pressures is one of the concerns in this sector. But at the same time, now that we're past Omicron, you would think that traffic's starting to pick up, and then they have the added bonus of their mobile applications. What kind of data are you seeing in this space moving forward?
Yeah, we got COVID sort of behind us, hopefully, fingers crossed. We've got the weather getting a little nicer, and the data supports what you're saying, Tom. So we've actually looking at mentions of food delivery down about 11 points year over year, but going to a restaurant up about 19 points year over year. So people are tired of being at home, and they're getting out there, and that's going to help all these restaurants. So Yum specifically is one that, last quarter we were, I think, a plus 28 on our earnings score. Their revenue beat, but their earnings missed. We have no insight into earnings as far as expenses go, of course. So we were correct on revenue. The stock was up about 2%. Now we're looking at plus 33 this time. So again, bullish on Yum going into earnings. And they're off a little bit on all-time highs. I think about 15%, depending on where they're at right now, from all-time highs. So they do have a lot of, obviously inflation, labor shortage, all that, plus China. That's about 26% of KFC, which is over half of their revenue. But everything's looking pretty good for Yum, frankly. Their mentions are the highest in the category as far as growth goes. They're beating McDonald's, Jack in the Box, Tim Hortons, QSR. They're beating all of those, and it's actually mostly being led by Taco Bell, doing extremely well percentage-wise on a purchase intent. It's up significantly. I think it's 65 points year over year, so doing really well, which actually, real quick, I want to talk about a very important day, January 6th. I know we're not supposed to talk about that day, but it was extremely important. That's the day that Taco Bell dropped its crispy chicken wings. So that was a monster day for the company. I got you, didn't I, Kevin?
Yeah.
So this is one that pushed up purchase intent significantly, and I think that pushed Taco Bell into second place. So among the three, KFC, Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut, Taco Bell is gaining the most, and Yum is doing extremely well because of that. Now, plus 33 is not a super aggressive bullish call, but it is significant enough for me to say, I'm comfortable taking a position on this company, even though they don't report right now. And if you want to talk about Darden, happy to talk about that as well. But Kevin, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Yum.
I was trading PepsiCo in 1997 when they spun off Yum Brands, and they called it Tricon Global Restaurants. That was the original name of Yum. And then they switched it later to Yum Brands. But crazy, Pepsi used to own this whole company. So these three companies, when they spun off, it was a very interesting time. And here's my question to you, though, Landon. Clearly, Taco Bell is their leader. A close second is KFC. Pizza Hut, a pretty distant third. And then they've got this new burger company that's relatively small. It appears that this company is still growing. They're still moving around restaurants and changing, some of them and growing this. I want to get the name right where it is. It's Habit Burger Grill is their new small company that they're trading. But this is, these brands are iconic and they're everywhere. And so, McDonald's has just one brand. They've got several in this restaurant group. How do they compare to a company like McDonald's? They've got 53,000 of these things globally. So it's not like it's a small company. It's massive, Landon. But how do they compare to, you've got Yum Brands, you've got McDonald's, you've got Jack in the Box, which is still relatively small. How does this company compare to the other big fast food chains?
Sure. So if you look at number of mentions or mentions growth on a quarter-over-quarter basis, YUM is actually the top of those four at plus 28%, doing really well. Purchase intent also the highest at plus 15%. McDonald's is second in that category. QSR and Jack in the Box are third and fourth. And again, that's comparing growth, not total size. And so a lot of that, like I said, is actually led by Taco Bell's growth. They are doing extremely well. They're, on their last earnings call, they were the strongest same-store sales increase. They were at plus 8%. KFC was plus 5%, and Pizza Hut was plus 3%. And they don't have the same China exposure that KFC does. Now, all that being said, obviously we're bullish on YUM, but again, there's so many things that we can't know when it comes to the expense side, obviously with labor shortages, inflation, but also with China, COVID possibly closing down a little bit. That's going to impact KFC, which is a significant part of their revenue. So, knowing what we know based on our data, English speaking only, that's LikeFolio's data. So basically North America, we're bullish on YUM, and we were last time. We got it right on the revenue side. The stock moved in our direction. So hopefully over the next month or so that we see that as well. But I think the trend is in their favor. Like, people are looking to go more out to these restaurants. You can see here on the scatter plot, we've got not just fast food, but we've mixed in the sit-down restaurants as well. If you guys do want to talk about Darden, it's struggling there. It's on the far left, DRI. It's behind Cheesecake Factory, Chili's, and Outback there, Bloomin'. So it's the loser of the group, and YUM is the winner of the fast food group.
Now, on that scatter plot, Landon, that's what I wanted to hit on. It seems that it's at the high end of the number of mentions, right, as far as growth goes, along with Bloomin' and Cheesecake Factory. But at the same time, I look at this from, the percent positive right. on that access, where it's still low. It's like McDonald's. I don't think anybody goes to McDonald's and says, I have a great experience there. Maybe some people do. But is that a hindrance for this stock as far as the data goes? Because, yeah, they're mentioning it, but maybe some of them are not positive mentions.
Hey, you know what? It's about 63-64% of people are saying, hey, I love McDonald's. But what's interesting is if you look at those four fast food restaurants, they're all basically the same level. They're all kind of low 60s on happiness. And then the sit-down restaurants are better. They're all, in the high 60s or mid 70s. So I think that's a pretty consistent theme. And it makes sense. You're going to have a better experience when you go to a sit-down restaurant. But, yeah, you can see that YUM is leading the way as far as it mentioned increase, purchase intent increase, and it's about the same as far as happiness. I mean, you know what you're getting. I think not a lot of surprise when it comes to fast food restaurants on happiness. The others, though, I think is interesting that Darden is falling so far behind. Outback and Cheesecake are doing very well as far as happiness and growth. So actually, all three of those that we showed, Bloomin', Outback, Cheesecake, Chili's, all doing better than Darden, which when you look at Darden restaurants, Longhorn and Cheddar's are doing very well, but Olive Garden, which is over half their revenue, is struggling. So they're sort of leading the way down, Olive Garden is. The other two restaurants doing well. So this is another one where you kind of got to look inside the umbrella and see how each of the brands are doing. So YUM's big grower is Taco Bell, doing well, leading the company up, and Darden's largest company or largest brand, Olive Garden, is leading the company down.
Tom White is such a McDonald's hater, Landon. Man, when you hear him talk, how could he be? How could you hate McDonald's? It's like apple pie and Chevrolet and come on. But anyway, okay, Landon, back. Your data on YUM brands, you're extremely positive. How do you get, but I mean, it's a North American measurement that you have. Do you see any changes in the, if you had to list them, it would obviously be Taco Bell, KFC, Pizza Hut, a distant third, and then their new burger joint. Are you seeing any change in that? Or do you measure them individually? Or do you just do all those are lumped into YUM brands?
No, we measure them individually, and Taco Bell is by far the fastest grower. I think a lot of it had to do, again, with that January 6th drop of the crispy chicken wings. I haven't tried them yet, but sounds like a product that would have been a better fit for Pizza Hut because they're into wings. But you add them into Taco Bell, and it is gangbusters. I mean, it is a monster increase, plus 65, where if you look at Yum overall, it's in the plus 28 category. McDonald's is plus 15. So Taco Bell is benefiting hugely from that. And again, that was, that was two and a half months ago. That they added that new product. So people are very happy with that, really driving a lot of new interest in the brand, which was already doing well. So among the three, clear winner is Taco Bell as far as growth goes. That I think that's nothing new, right? That's been Taco Bell's been going strong for quite a while, and now it's just accelerating.
Yeah, and KFC had a nice bump year over year, 12%. Gains, probably based on their competitor to the Popeyes chicken sandwich, getting a lot of sales there initially. All right, Landon, great stuff as always. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it. I'm gonna go get some lunch now. Take care.
All right, that's Landon Swan, co-founder of LikeFolio, giving us the data. He's positive on Yum.